American Le Mans Series year, and a series makes its 5th visit to the Mid-Ohio circuit in Lexington, Ohio, where last year the Dyson team took a 1-2 finish. The circuit has been completely resurfaced with 45,000 tons of asphalt. Oliver Gavin in the Ford Corvette couldn't manage to set the class pole this weekend either. Not that that's the end of the world for them. The yellow-clad team are always strong on race pace and tactics, but it was certainly an acknowledgement that the Aston Martins were finally putting the pressure on what has been expected for some time.
It's only by the tiniest amount, but it's enough, and This track is a little bit different. I mean, it's the smoothest track now in North America, I feel. They've worked a lot on it over here the last 6 or 7 months. And maybe our car doesn't suit it quite as much as it suits the Aston Martin, especially with the extra weight that we have and all the other bits and pieces. But it's warmed up. It's considerably warmer now than it has been at any other time in the weekend, and that may just have caught us out slightly. Traffic, a lot of traffic out there, but just the car just had a little bit too much understeer for me, and I just couldn't get it into the corners, and maybe I overdrove slightly. But it's Aston Martin's day, so you know you've got to give it to them. It's great for all the fans here. It's great for this series. It's just not so great for us.
Aston Martin thought it really was great for them, having the 007 car topping the GT1 class. Both their cars had been off the track during the day, but not causing any major damage. Thomas Enger was happy that he'd pulled out the pole time and was really happy just to be driving here altogether.
Everything went pretty well the whole weekend since yesterday. We were fast right up there. We just liked the track. I think our car likes the track as well. Tires, Pirelli tires, they seem to be really great up here, and we just can't wait for tomorrow's race. It looks like it's going to be a good challenge. The traffic is going to pay. It's going to be a big key, but otherwise I just love the track, so I can't wait to come back tomorrow.
There was a small entry in the prototype classes promoting the chances of a podium finish, and the Autocon team, still getting to grips with their former Dyson car, were well aware of their chances. Mechanical problems for the 20 Dyson Lola of Chris Dyson and Guy Smith had left them playing catch-up, but they were concentrating on race setup rather than a quick car for qualifying. But it was still good enough to go 5th overall and 3rd in the P1 class. Dyson Racing finished here with a 1-2 last year, the 16 car taking the win. Butch Leitzinger topped the P1 class with a lap just a fraction over 1 minute 13. Development is very much the word within the team as they continue to get to grips with the new chassis. An Audi R8 was rolled out again at Mid-Ohio for the second of 3 races, while it's filling the R10 gap. The winning car at the last round topped the P1 times, with Alan McNish setting a late 1 minute 12 lap on his first visit to the circuit. Intersport have won the first 2 races of the year in the P2 category, somewhat against the odds, with the opposition that they're up against from the Penske Porsche team. John Field was on duty in qualifying, going 3rd in class and 4th overall, powered by their practice engine from Sebring, as the race motor was damaged for the last race in Houston.
We really don't weigh into qualifying that much. We really will be able to do that in the race as well. So, I mean, we're not going to back off as far as they will, because they really throw a lot after qualifying, and they're really going very quick. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So, we just, stay on course with our own game and see where it sorts out.
The Penske Porsche Spiders were quickest in the P2 class and overall as well. The track conditions here were suiting the prototype, and they were quick from the start. Timo Bernhard went quickest of the pair in the 7 car, making it only the 2nd time in American Le Mans Series history that a P2 car will start from pole. A Penske won 2 and a very real chance of taking an overall win.
I think the competitors will be a lot stronger in the race. So I still believe it's going to be a close race, whatever. But for sure, it's very good for us. After Houston, that we didn't finish it here, we are successful again, and we show that the car and everything is very good. The car is very good, and the team has put a lot of effort in it. Porsche as well, and I still believe we will have great success.
That's not where the qualifying story ends, though. After the session, all the cars have to go through the IMSA technical inspection, and after the pole-setting car had been weighed, it was found to be 2 kilos underweight, and its time was stripped, and Timo Bernhard will start from the back of the grid. That means that Sascha Maassen is now promoted to pole, and the Audi of Alan McNish joins him on the front row. Race day dawned with torrential rain falling on the circuit, and the warm-up session was held in very wet conditions. Thankfully, though, the clouds moved away and the sun came out mid-morning to virtually dry the track completely, a blessing for the drivers and for the spectators as well. Mika Salo was back again on the grid and enjoying a much fuller racing schedule this year.
It is going well, yeah. A little problem in Houston, but we're still quick all the time. Here we've been reasonably quick all the time. We were hoping for rain because in the wet we were really quick, but the car's working fine, so we'll see. It's a long race.
You look at qualifying at 10th between first and third, it's incredible. And so all the teams are top-notch, driver teams are top-notch, so it's, you know, everything's got to be really perfect from the beginning of the race to the end to do well.
Obviously, with the R8 being penalised from a weight point of view, and also the circuit certainly not being positive in that circumstance, it was going to be impossible to actually get the overall pole. However, you know, everybody in the team's a racer, and we're not satisfied unless we're number one, whichever way it is. And at the moment we're number two, but a kind of number one. And at the end of this race, we hope that we can actually achieve it as we did in Houston.
We're definitely still learning as we go. You know, a lot of the changes that we ended up making had to do with ride height and just learning basically the window of what, you know, the car is wanting. And we had made some changes because we had some push where we lowered the nose a bit, and it made the car really oversteer a lot in the high speed stuff, which wasn't any good. So, you know, we're learning as we go, and you know, I think I'd have to say that we're pretty happy with how things are going.
It's a different layout. I mean, the layout is the same. It's a different track surface, and because of that, you know, it's presented some unique challenges. It is great to be back at Mid-Ohio. We love this place. We've had great races here the past few years, and it's great to have this as a fixture. You know, from this point on, really, the championship begins. You know, we've gotten through 2 very bumpy, aggressive tracks, and now we're back to more, you know, the Mid-Ohio kind of sets a tone for the rest of the year.
The starting drivers now get themselves firmly strapped into the cars and prepare for the green flag, which will see them start 2 hours and 45 minutes of racing on this Mid-Ohio circuit. Round 3 of the American Le Mans Series, and Mid-Ohio continues on a week after the race at Houston. Rain earlier this morning has almost dried away now from this brand new track surface. A Penske Porsche and an Audi North America champion racing Audi on the front row, and of course another Penske just about at the back of the grid, which will be sidling its way through the field. Aston Martin versus Corvette on row 4 and 5. That's going to be another major battle that we're going to keep our eyes on. Well, on the formation lap, but in the pit lane there is problems already for the Intersport car. Liz Halliday came in at the end of the first of 2 laps with a paddle shift linkage problem. As we look down at the formation lap, they're going to get the green flag just about now. They don't get it on the main start and finish straight because of visibility problems here, so they take it actually out on the back straight. Liz Halliday out of the pits and making her way up to the back of the field, and problems for Mike Rockenfeller in the Alex Joe Porsche. Shift linkage problems, gearbox problems, we're told, and problems for them before they'd even start. They won the race last time out, and we're about to get going. The green flag is being waved now, and Porsche on the front row. But Ollie Gavin in the yellow Corvette has got past the Aston Martin, so moved up one place. That must have been a blinding start for him, and he drops into something like 4th or 5th overall. But this race pace looks to be just a little bit slower than we were expecting, and Sasha Masson is seemingly holding them back just a little bit. That's how it appears. Whether that's the case, we'll have to wait and see. Now he starts to sprint out, but the Corvette ahead of the Aston Martin, and there is the battle for the GT2 class, Paynos and the Flying Lizard, and the Ferrari has got problems. That looks to be a puncture, a deflating tyre for Mika Salo, not what they wanted at all, and that is going to be an early call into the pit lane, and hopefully no major damage done to the suspension. Here's a replay then, and we just see contact with the Paynos, and the Ferrari puts him off track, but the damage is already done, and that tyre is about to be changed now into the pit lane. They'll just change, they're going to put a splash of fuel in there just to top it right up, and the Alex Joe car, well, they just can't sort that car out. I think that is going to be a disappointing retirement. And problems for the Paynos team as well. They've got problems, and we saw an incident with them on track before. This looks to be mechanically related though, engine in the front. But it is a Porsche that leads. Almost forgot about there's a race going on at the front with so much activity in the pit lane. And Sasha Masson has pulled out a handful of time already over the next car, which is the Audi. There's Liz Halliday, who's been caught by the leader. She wasn't fully all the way round. James Weaver in 3rd, and in 4th place overall, and 2nd in P2 is Timo Bernhard. Remember, he started from virtually last on the grid, has made his way through the pack, and is now up and battling for 4th place, and they're 3 abreast. Well, Liz Halliday getting out the way, just getting offline and letting these faster boys go through. And she's had a lap put on her now, but through mechanical problems. And James Weaver got a little chance there, got a little sniff at the Audi, but wasn't able to do anything about it. The 3rd race for this Dyson car. It's a brand new car. The bright yellow Porsche Spiders, well, one of them debuted last year at Laguna Seca, and he's gone on the inside. Got on the inside, but couldn't make it work. James Weaver just beautifully took the line going through this fabulous part of the circuit here at Mid-Ohio. Always a well-supported American Le Mans event. You can still see quite a bit of water standing at the side of the track. The grassy areas are still pretty damp. A lot of rain earlier in the week. This brand new circuit is still pretty green. A lot of oil coming up through. And that is the 20 Dyson car. And that is a retirement for Chris Dyson. And it sounds like gearbox problems. What a disappointment for them. So already they're down to 1 car. And the battle for 2nd place continues. Timo Bernhard has now got past Butch Leitzinger in the 16 car and is coming up behind Alan McNish. And Chris Dyson gets out of the stricken 20 car. That's just around the bridge. That's around about turn 9 as these 3 go through the start-finish straight. And Timo Bernhard looking very handy, looking for a way through past that Audi Sport North America Champion Racing Audi R8. It will do 1 more round after this. We're on board the 21 car. As through goes the Audi, through goes the Dyson car, and then through goes the Porsche. So another change of position there. And the Paynos and the Flying Lizard car battling away in GT1. They're having a good old battle there, and Alan McNish coming up behind them now, which is going to slightly spoil their charge. There are are two blue lights on the sides of that Penske Porsche that indicates that that car is second in class, but it is pressuring the LMP1 cars. And we have the second of the Penske Porsches that are leading this race and a long way ahead. We're on board Alan McNish, who's leading the P1 category, but is second overall in the race, as it is a P2 car that's leading. And they are doing pretty well with this R8. It's a testament to the team and also to the drivers as well. They've got a lot more weight in that car now. Regulations changed regarding these cars for the series this year. There is our race leader. And Sasha Masson doing this opening stint, coming up behind the Intersport car. And Sasha Masson will be handing over later to his teammate Lucas Law. Those two have been driving together for quite some time. Won the P2 class on its debut last year at the final race of the season at Laguna Seca, and were disappointed, like their teammates in the second car, to have retired in both races. Liz Halliday just getting a pit signal to tell her that the lead car was behind her. Just taking the opportunity to move over and let it through. Aston Martin ahead, that's the 009 car. Stefan Sarazin and Pedro Lamy. And we know that the Aston Martins will be at the fourth round of the year at Lime Rock. Not sure what the programme is after that. We're waiting to hear. It's all down to sponsorship. So the Aston Martin now gets lapped. Corvette just ahead. There we go. And that is second and third in class that you're looking at. Darren Turner in the Aston Martin with the red lipstick. And GT2, David Brabham and Wolf Hensler battling on in the smaller of the classes, but this class has really come alive this year, and these guys fighting over second and third place at the moment. We've lost the Ferrari temporarily, it seems, due to technical problems, mechanical failure of a tyre, or a puncture as it's commonly known. That is making up ground further down the field, so it's down to these two at the moment. David Brabham and Scott Maxwell won at Sebring this year, as we see Ollie Gavin 7 races in a row that he and his partner Olivia Beretta have won now. Winning streak continuing, and he's pulled out a lot of time over that car that we saw just before of Darren Turner and the second Corvette C6R. Sounding resplendent as always, the distinctive orange livery. And we go on board inside the Aston Martin of Thomas Enger and Darren Turner. It's Darren Turner that is inside that car at the moment and holding on to second in class. The Aston Martin's really much stronger here. This circuit just seemingly suiting them a bit better. They're on Pirelli tyres as against the Michelins of the Corvettes. And, well, problems for 45. He was going well, but Wolf Hensler has spun at the S's, just gone off track, maybe just trying a little bit too hard, didn't see. Well, the team telling him that he was now in third place and 30 seconds behind. And here's a replay then, so it was side by side going for the lead of the GT2 class, and David Brabham closed the door. David Brabham manages to correct that slide, and just a racing incident. Wolf Hensler won't be happy about that, of course, but well, it can't be helped. So Aston Martin second, Corvette third, and then Aston Martin fourth. Darren Turner losing a place at the start of this race to Ollie Gavin, who's quite some way ahead now. Timo Bernhard comes into the pit lane at round 3 of the American Le Mans Series at mid-Ohio. Stops perfectly on his marks, gets out, and Romain Dumas gets in. Fuel going inside that Porsche RS Spider. As soon as the fuel has gone in, then the rest of the pit crew can go to work and put new tyres on that car. Timo Bernhard helping to strap in Romain Dumas. 6-point harness goes in, plugs in the comms, which also doubles as the driver ID as well. Puts out a little signal that indicates on the timing screen who's actually driving that car. So new tyres going on now, almost at the end of this pit stop. Rear wheels being changed. Only 4 men allowed to be touching that car. It's done, fires up, beautifully goes out. Perfectly executed pit stop. The old tyres taken away over the other side. They've done a good job. We're on board now with the Mazda, the BK Motorsports Courage Mazda, 4th in the P2 class, and it's Guy Cosmo. Goes down the start-finish straight now. They've been working so hard on this Mazda project, and Butch Leitzinger has brought the 16 car in. James Weaver has taken over and goes out. Alan McNish is leading the class, and James Weaver heads out to try and do something about that. So out he goes. Take a lap or so to get up to temperature. Lucas Law in the pit lane is getting ready. That means that Sasha Masson is very shortly heading into the pit lane. There he is, stops on the marks perfectly. The team go to work on this car now. Fuel going in first of all. Sasha gets out, he's allowed to help. The incoming driver gets strapped in. The other mechanics are just poised, ready to go with the tyres. Fire extinguisher standing by just in case there's any chance of a fire. And Alan McNish now went to the pits. The Porsche on his left-hand side being pashed. And into his pit box, the last pit, the very end of the pit lane. And he gets out, the tyres are coming round, the fuel is already going in. And we'll see Dindo, Rinaldo Capello slot into the seat now. And the Porsche heads out. Has to maintain the 60-kilometre pit lane speed limit. Now he's released and can get back up to speed again. Filters out onto the track. Tyres going on the Audi, also on Michelin's. And Dindo will get the power-up signal now. Traction control takes over, launch control as they take that car out on the pit lane. And that is the Autocon car that stopped on the circuits, and the 009 car comes in, change for the Aston Martins, and Pedro Lamy and Stefan Sarrazin will be changing places. Pedro Lamy getting in, and we've got a full course caution because of Michael Lewis's spin at turn 2. Well, he just recently taken over that car, and it seems to be the classic spin on cold tyres. The rear wheels just hooked off the track. Your Bergmeister ready for a pit stop in the 31 car. So the engine is still going. He can move under his own power as soon as that car was pushed back off the verge there, and away he goes.
Okay, try while you're on to get that clutch all the way down. You got first gear.
He's trying to get first gear. They had to disengage the gearbox using the automatic neutral from the front, it seems.
All right, let's get some temperature down.
And gets underway again now. We're on board in the pit lane. This is Darren Turner coming in, who's had to stay out a little bit longer than he wanted to because of the pits being closed. But now he can go to work. So James Weaver in the 16 car, leader in the P1 class at the moment, but being overshadowed by the Penske Porsches. James Weaver third overall, and we've got 2 Corvettes behind an Aston Martin. Number 4 and number 3, familiar numbers. 007 though. is the car that's leading the GT2 class, so changes in the GT1 class. 3 lights, 3 green lights on the side of the Corvette C6R. Indicates it's third in class, and a little bit of smoke coming from that 007 car, presumably tyre smoke, and that looks to be a bit of a problem for Thomas Enger. So a puncture in that car, I think, without a doubt, was leading in class and got ahead, and yet there it is, that tyre just coming off, and it's the difficult task now of trying to keep up as much time as you can and yet not risk that tyre completely damaging the back end. And on board inside that car. And still a little way to go to the pit lane, and a new Pirelli will be put on now, and just losing so much time, down to third in class as the battle continues for the lead of P2, LMP2, and also overall as well. And a beautiful move there round the outside as they go through the carousel, and a change in lead overall. And I think that's been planned for the last couple of laps. But Romain Dumas in the number 7 car passes teammate Lucas Law to take the lead. They go past Ben Devlin in the 19 Van der Steur Motorsports P2 car, but these two just in a different league, and that was a lovely move. I don't think we've seen the last of it, of course, in this battle either. Still quite a long way to go, and certainly Lucas Law will want to get past. And Aston Martin ahead. That's Thomas Enger back out after taking on a new tyre. Is he going to split these cars, or can they both get through? But that's allowed Lucas Law to get through and make time up again. But he was looking on the inside as they come round the final turn, and was there if he could get through the start-finish straight, which is only short. We're on board the number 8 EK Motorsports Mazda P2 car. Romain Dumas and Lucas Law fighting for the lead of the race, the round 3 of the American Le Mans Series at Mid-Ohio. And Lucas Law nips through to pass Romain Dumas just as they come to the end of the lap. And the positions have been reversed once again. Here's a replay, and on the inside. And Romain Dumas was caught out by the number 8 Mazda, Roger Penske, team owner. Looking on as we see, that's the Autocon car. Michael Lewis just gets out of the way to let the Porsches go through, and Romain Dumas was ready and waiting then for his chance to get a pass back. So Lucas Law leads round 3 at Mid-Ohio from his teammates, and these two respectively overall and in the P2 class, first and second. And a little way back is the P1 contenders, who have been well and truly overshadowed here this weekend, and these Porsches just looking so strong. And there is Roger Penske once again as we look down at them again, and there's a back marker ahead, and danger time for Lucas Law, because will this allow Romain Dumas to get the slingshot into the corner? And he does, and he closed beautifully, and the lead changes again. Oh, but he comes back to Lucas Law. So they're back where they were again, and back markers. There was a little touch there as well, and Sasha Masson next to Roger Penske, and there was the briefest of touches to the sides of those cars. And a lead change again now, because Lucas Law went wide. Let's hope that he hasn't got a problem from that touch, but he just got offline there. And that was enough for Romain Dumas to get through. And Romain Dumas and Timo Bernhard, well, into the pit lane comes the 6th car. Lucas Law into the pits. I'm wondering whether they...
Four tires, let's go. Fuel and 4 tires. Fuel first.
Whether they have got a puncture problem.
2, 1 in.
But then their pit stop was earlier in this race, so they're on a different strategy. So new tyres, that is going to help them. More fuel going on board. Lucas Law stays in. This will be their final stop of the race. And in the meantime, James Weaver has moved up to second overall, and he is leading the P1 class. The Dyson ahead of the Audi. So Lucas Law, all he can do is just sit and wait now. Fires up, Audi goes, clear pit lane, and will filter back onto the track in just a few moments' time. Passes the last of the pits, the Audi pits, and the brand new tarmac surface. And here's a replay then, and this is where they touch, and blocked by the Van der Steur car. There was nowhere for the 7 car to go. 10-2 in the afternoon at Mid-Ohio, and now Romain Dumas is receiving his fuel as well. New tyres also, I would imagine, ready for that car. Can't see from that shot. Unless he's going to try and do it. Oh no, just fuel only. So that saves a little bit of time in the pit lane, and that could be a strong factor towards the end of this race. And stays inside the very thick yellow line, filters out, and James Weaver has gone off course. Engine is still going. He's got out of the barriers. Don't think he hit them too hard, but he's obviously gone off.
What was the problem, mate?
Well, pit to car radio, full course caution, which is a bit strange. Damage to the rear of that tyre and to the rear bodywork. Full course caution though, even though he was still able to get himself out of that problem. But slow car on track now. And here's a replay then, James Weaver, and just locks up the back end, and something went wrong with that car. That's not an over-braking mistake at all. Whether it was a puncture then, a deflating tyre, and it just sent him off track. And there you see a flat tyre, very damaged tyre, very cut up. Looks actually like it's got tread, but you can see the tyre is completely slick, but standing there ready to go. Fuel going on board. Liz Halliday getting ready to go back into the 37 Intersport car. And actually thinking about it, the pits are closed, so the 16 crew were waiting for the pit signal that it was open before they could actually start working on that car. Round 3 of the American Le Mans Series at Mid-Ohio in Ohio State as the pace car peels off into the pit lane. So we're back underway again, green flag. Romain Dumas leads Lucas Law. First and second overall, first and second in the P2 category. And there is the Audi a little way behind them. The pace car, the safety car period has allowed the field to close up again now. But I'm sure that will stretch out very quickly indeed as Dindo continues on his way. And the important thing is, as 2 of the crew take a well-earned break, is that they get as many points this weekend as possible. And Porsche boys still at it, hardly anything between them at all. They are perfectly matched. And Romain Dumas is leading Lucas Law. Overall victory for the Porsche looks to be on today. That will be a first for them, and it looks like it's going to be the first 1-2 as well for the Porsche RS Spider, so a lot of history for them and Porsche as well today. Traffic coming up though, Lucas Law looking for a chance to get through and past his teammate, lost a little bit of ground there. We're on board the 50 Paynos of David Brabham and Scott Maxwell. Scott Maxwell, the Canadian, behind the wheel of that as they come out of the final turn. Traffic ahead now, it's the Ferrari and the Flying Lizard car that's ahead of them. They both clear the first car and now pass out under the blue flags to, has to go the other way around. Romain Dumas went one way and Lucas Law went the other. Into the carousel they go. Now they slingshot themselves back up the other direction. Great course this though. Beautifully resurfaced and a lot of something like 6,000 feet of fence they've changed as well. As the Audi goes through the pit lane, a little way back now, and the Ferrari's gone off. The Ferrari has gone off with Jamie Mello behind the wheel into the gravel trap, and the safety car is out again, and I'm not sure whether that was a result of a puncture, a collision, or what the incident was. The Corvette team, Doug Feehan, project manager, just seeing what the latest situation is regarding their cars, and of course everybody now has to maintain position. And another full course caution as we're on board with Lindo Capello, taking a little while just to pull that Ferrari out of the way. The safety car continues round. The towing vehicle can't get too close, of course, because it doesn't want to sink into the gravel either. And we've got the green flag now. We're back underway again, and it's Porsche versus Porsche. More pit signals being given out, more pit talk, but Romain Dumas is holding off Lucas Law. Battles continuing on behind in all the other classes, and the two Aston Martins having a bit of a dogfight too. And the 009 car locking up now as they fight for position in class and on track. Lindo Capello has a good view of that. And the Porsche is leading this race and leading P1. Third overall, the Audi, but leader in its class, and that's going to net them full championship points. These two, what a great battle they've had all through this race. Timo Bernhard brought the number 7 car from the back of the field up to contending for the lead of this race, switched over to Romain Dumas, and Lucas Law took over from Sasha Masson in the 6 car, and at the moment not close enough to have a little stab. As through they go, we get the white flag. There is one more lap to go, and history in the American Le Mans Series about to be made, as the Porsches will take a 1-2 finish overall and in class as well. The bits of debris, little black balls of rubber you can see on the sides of this circuit. And the Audi in 3rd place. The Dyson is going to finish 2nd in class. The Autocon team are also going to step up to the P1 class podium. And in the P2 class, as the Ferrari gets almost out of the way for the Porsches, in the P2 class behind these two, the Intersport team are going to be taking a 3rd place today, so they will be on the podium for the 3rd consecutive time. But all credit to the crew of the number 7 car. They have driven a beautiful race. We have seen passing between 2 cars. They really have been going for it. It's a credit to the Penske Porsche team and also to the American Le Mans Series. They have thrilled the fans, and Lucas Law hasn't given up. Closed right up there and was going to have a go if given the chance, but it's a formation finish for the Penske Porsches, and the end of round 3, and over now. Across the line comes the Audi. It's not an overall win, but it doesn't matter. Romain Dumas and Timo Bernhard take the P2 class and their 1st win overall. Ronaldo Capello and Alain McNish take the P1. 8 straight wins in a row for Oliver Gavin and Olivier Beretta in GT1, while Johannes van Overbeek and Wolf Hensler fought through to win GT2. They were delighted to set pole, disappointed to lose it, and then determined that they would make the best of starting from the back. A class win would maybe have been enough reward, but to take the overall win after battling with a car of equal performance is just stunning. And Romain Dumas was delighted, to say the very least.
It's a dream, we can say like this. It's the first time that we finish a race, we can say, this year for my teammate and myself, and also for the car, and we won. And we won overall. That's really nice. And for the Porsche to finish 1-2, I think overall in front of all. So the mark and all the class, nothing to say. I made a really good race. I have a great fight with Lucas. Fortunately, we touched a little bit, so we make a little bit the result at the end, but I think Timo was in pole, we were quick all the time. That's normal, I can say.
3 class wins gives a maximum point score for McNish and Capello and a 12-point lead, while Clint Field and Liz Halliday hang on to the P2 class lead. Olivia Beretta and Oliver Gavin have built up an 18-point lead with their Corvette, with Johannes van Overbeek the sole leader of the GT2 class. Utter delight for Timo Bernhard and Romain Dumas. The series takes a break now before meeting up again at the beginning of July at Lime Rock, which will see the first of 3 rounds that month.